Introduction. Good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to embark on an insightful journey into the world of economics, focusing on how we measure and understand income inequality. Our tools for this exploration are the Lorenz curve and the Gini coefficient. These concepts are not just theoretical. They have profound implications for how we perceive economic health and social justice in societies around the globe. Income inequality is a topic that touches on the distribution of wealth and resources across different segments of society. It's a complex issue, embedded in the fabric of economies, and understanding it requires a deep dive into the Lorenz curve and the Gini coefficient. We'll break down these concepts, look at their historical context, and discuss their relevance and application in today's world. Part 1. Understanding the Lorenz curve. The Lorenz curve is a graphical representation that shows the distribution of income or wealth within a population. It was introduced by Max O. Lorenz in 1905 as a way to visualize how income is distributed across a society, from the poorest to the richest. Imagine plotting all individuals in the economy on the x-axis, arranged from the least to the most wealthy. On the y-axis, we plot the cumulative percentage of income or wealth. The curve that forms from this plotting reveals the distribution of wealth across the population. To illustrate, let's consider a simplified example. Imagine we're analyzing the income distribution within a certain economy, and we have divided the population into 5 equal groups, or quintiles. Using a hypothetical model in Microsoft Excel, we assign an average income to each quintile, starting from $1 to $17, increasing as we move up the quintiles. This simplified model helps us visualize the income disparity within the society. Part 2. The Gini coefficient, a measure of inequality. Now, let's move to the Gini coefficient, which is derived from the Lorenz curve. The Gini coefficient is a number between 0 and 1, where 0 represents perfect equality, everyone has the same income, and 1 signifies perfect inequality, one person has all the income, and everyone else has none. It quantifies the inequality depicted by the Lorenz curve, providing a succinct measure of income or wealth distribution within a society. Calculating the Gini coefficient involves understanding the area between the line of perfect equality, a 45-degree line from the origin, and the Lorenz curve itself. The formula for the Gini coefficient is relatively straightforward but requires careful analysis of the areas under the curve. Part 3. A deeper dive into calculations. Let's delve deeper into the calculation process. Traditional methods often involve geometric calculations, which can be cumbersome and not intuitive for all students. Instead, we'll explore a computational approach that simplifies the process, especially useful when dealing with datasets that don't conform neatly into regular shapes. We will use an equation that allows us to compute the Gini coefficient directly from the income data of each quintile. This approach not only saves time but also enhances our understanding of the relationship between income distribution and the Gini coefficient. We'll go through the calculation step by step, using our hypothetical income data to illustrate. Part 4. Implications and real-world applications. Understanding the Lorenz curve and Gini coefficient is more than an academic exercise, it has real-world implications. Governments and policymakers use these tools to design and evaluate social and economic policies. For instance, a high Gini coefficient might prompt interventions aimed at redistributing income more equitably through taxation, welfare programs, or other mechanisms. However, it's essential to approach these metrics with a critical mind. A low Gini coefficient does not necessarily mean a society is thriving. If the overall standard of living is low, then equality in poverty is not a desirable outcome. Conversely, a certain level of inequality might drive economic innovation and growth, provided it does not lead to social unrest or hinder access to basic needs and opportunities. Part 5. Critical analysis and personal perspectives. In our discussion today, I will also share some personal viewpoints on income inequality and the ethical considerations it raises. It's important to recognize the limitations of the Lorenz curve and Gini coefficient in capturing the full spectrum of economic well-being and social justice. For instance, these metrics do not account for public goods, access to healthcare, education, or the overall happiness and satisfaction of a population. As we conclude, we'll open the floor for a discussion on these topics. I encourage you to think critically about the role of income inequality in society, the effectiveness of measures like the Gini coefficient in capturing economic disparities, and the potential paths towards creating more equitable societies. Conclusion. Thank you for joining me in this deep dive into the Lorenz curve and the Gini coefficient. I hope this session has not only broadened your understanding of these economic tools but also sparked curiosity about the broader implications of income inequality in our world. Remember, economics is not just about numbers and graphs, it's about people, societies, and the quest for a better world for everyone. As we move forward, let's keep the conversation going. I look forward to your questions, insights, and discussions on how we can apply these concepts to real-world challenges. Thank you, and see you in our next session.